Welcome back to the show. Well, the World Cup is going to be coming to the Boston area down at Gillette Stadium this summer. But it was a little dicey there for a few minutes. There were some funding issues between the town of Foxborough and FIFA and the Krafts over who was going to pay for security for the World Cup. And the town of Foxborough, they came out ahead. They won a David and Goliath type of battle. To talk more about it, we're going to bring in Globe Sports business reporter Michael Silverman. Mike, you've had some great coverage about this in the Globe over the last week. Tell me a little bit more about the resolution. The saga finally ended a couple days ago.
Well, it's all over except for the actual vote Tuesday night at the Foxborough Select Board, when everyone in the world, especially FIFA and the Kraft Group, expect the Select Board to approve the entertainment license that FIFA and Kraft Group need in order to stage the 7 games this summer. And they finally have surpassed some hurdles to allow for a yes vote, but that's what we're all waiting for.
And it's who's ultimately going to be paying for the security at these big World Cup events in Foxborough?
Well, the Kraft Group is going to be footing the bill. There is a lot of federal and state grant money that's going to be repaid to the Kraft Group eventually. But the one thing is for certain is that the town of Foxborough had no interest in paying that bill, even if they knew they were going to be reimbursed. They did not want to start chasing down whoever was responsible, like the Kraft Group or FIFA, to get their money back. They were like, no way, we need the money up front.
No question. Good for them. Correct me if I'm wrong, the Krafts generally pay for security for Patriots and Revs and other events at Gillette Stadium, correct?
Right. And so Foxborough Board, this is not their usual job, and this is not your usual Patriots game or, Taylor Swift concert either. They use the term kind of loosely, I think, that there will be 7 Super Bowls played at the World Cup in Foxborough. And, it's slightly exaggerated, but there is a lot. It's a geopolitical event, right? We have a lot of countries, international visitors. The level of security is going to be way above and beyond of what a typical, event at Gillette Stadium is. So, that combined with being asked to pay the bill was not something Foxborough Town Hall was especially keen to do.
No, and you know what? To their credit, they held firm and they were serious. They were not going to be issuing these permits until they got assurances. So I say tip your cap to the little guy. David beats Goliath in this situation. This kind of ties to it, though, Michael. You had this in an article recently in the Globe, really fascinating look at the Boston Soccer 26 committee that's in charge of, I believe, raising $170 million. They're having some funding issues now, something like only $2 million in the bank. What's going on with the host committee here?
Yeah, it's not been an easy road. Frankly, having FIFA in charge of an event like this makes anyone working under them, it makes it difficult. FIFA is very controlling, let's say, and they're going to be grabbing the most of these revenues. Now, people lump the host committee in with FIFA. They think that, FIFA can just fund them. FIFA definitely does not want to fund the local Boston host committee. They have to raise money from federal sources, state sources, as well as private donations. And for the reasons I just said, because FIFA is associated with them, they're finding that pretty tough. The state only wants to give them half of what they've asked for, $20 million. Private donations have been tough to scramble. I mean, this summer we've got a lot going on. It's the 250th, anniversary. The tall ships are coming in. So there's a lot of demand on donors' dollars, and it has not been easy.
And if correct me if I'm wrong, I think they're limited to who they can get as sponsors because FIFA has exclusive sponsorships in certain areas. So the local host committees are having trouble fundraising in that sense too.
Exactly. Every piece of sign that you and I are used to seeing, every fan that walks into Gillette Stadium, that's all going to be covered. It's all coming down. DraftKings, Dunkin' Donuts, Gillette. The stadium's going to be renamed as Boston Stadium, which makes a lot of sense because it's in Foxborough. And, the only logos you're going to see are from official FIFA sponsors like Coca-Cola and Bank of America and Visa. There's a lot of them, obviously. And FIFA, is going to allow them to get all the exposure they can. And that will come at the expense of all the current advertisers and signage that we see now at the stadium.
Real quick, is Boston the only city having these funding issues right now?
certainly the most visible, which is a real feather in everyone's cap around here. But Foxborough is by far the smallest town to host a World Cup game in the country. There's 10 other cities. None of them have the issues that Boston is having. They all are waiting for the same pool of money to be released by the federal government. There's also state issues in each state, but Boston has also received the least amount of funding from the state. Places like Kansas City, they got both Kansas and Missouri chipping in, and they have plenty of money to do things like Fan Fest. That's not the case here in Boston. So we're number 10 or 11.
Interesting stuff. Michael Silverman, thank you very much. All right, coming up next, more on Jason Tatum and the Celtics. How's the return going?